This is what the narcissist never thought you would do, that makes them regret until they die. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life, where we explore powerful life strategies rooted in ancient wisdom to help you take control of your emotional well-being. If you've ever dealt with a narcissist, someone who thrives on manipulation, control, and constant validation, you know how draining it can be. They believe they hold all the power, and their actions seem to go unchecked, causing you pain and doubt. But here's the truth they never saw coming. You have the ability to break free from their control, and when you do, it leaves them with regret that will last a lifetime. In today's video, we'll explore the simple, yet profound actions that can shift the power dynamic, empowering you to move forward with strength and peace. Let's dive into how you can take back control and transform your life. What's one thing you've done that has helped you break free from the narcissist's grip? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a conversation about reclaiming our personal power. Number 1. Acting cold as ice. Narcissists thrive on triggering emotional reactions like anger, frustration, and fear to feel in control and validate their fragile ego. Their goal is to provoke emotional chaos, believing they've won when you react. But here's the twist. They never expect that when you stop reacting, when you refuse to engage in their emotional games, you strip them of the very thing they rely on, your emotional response. Without it, they are left with confusion and frustration. Staying calm and unaffected by their provocations is a powerful act. It's not about being rude or dismissive. It's about protecting your peace and maintaining control over your own emotions. The more you detach emotionally, the more you regain control over the situation. You send the message, "Your manipulation doesn't work on me." This is where the Stoic secret comes into play. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Your emotions are within your control. No matter how much a narcissist tries to provoke you, you decide how to respond. When you remain composed, their tactics lose power. They expect anger or fear, but when you stay neutral, their grip on you weakens. Imagine a time when someone tried to provoke you, but instead of reacting, you stayed calm. In that moment, your true strength was revealed. Narcissists thrive on chaos, and when you deny them that, they lose control. Your calmness unnerves them more than any outburst ever could. It's in these moments that their false sense of power crumbles, and they begin to regret trying to manipulate you. The Stoic mindset teaches us to master our emotions and remain grounded, no matter the external circumstances. Applying this mindset with narcissists takes away their power. When you remain unmoved like a Stoic warrior, you show them that they no longer control you. The more you stand firm, the more their emotional manipulation fails. Narcissists often underestimate your ability to remain strong. They assume everyone will react emotionally, but when you refuse to engage, they begin to realize their tactics have failed. That's when they experience something they can't easily recover from: regret. Their ego takes a blow, and they're left feeling exposed and powerless. The true victory here is not outsmarting the narcissist, but reclaiming your emotional sovereignty. By choosing not to react, you protect your peace of mind, create space to think clearly, and move forward without being shackled by their drama. Emotional detachment isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about freeing yourself from their toxicity. Think of a time when you chose not to react to a narcissist's provocation. In those moments, you practiced emotional detachment, gaining strength and control over your emotions. By standing firm and refusing to engage with their emotional manipulation, you demonstrated that their tactics no longer work on you. Like a Stoic warrior who faces adversity with calmness, your emotional detachment creates a ripple effect. The more you hold your ground, the more their control fades. Narcissists feed on your reactions, and when you deny them that, their power slips away. They will regret ever trying to manipulate you and underestimating your ability to stand firm. True power lies not in reacting to insults, but in how you respond, or more accurately, in your lack of response. By practicing emotional detachment, you reclaim control of your life. Over time, the narcissist will regret ever underestimating you, realizing that their manipulations no longer have any effect on you. Number 2. Giving them the silent treatment. When dealing with a narcissist, one of the most effective tools you can use is the silent treatment. In their world, silence is often weaponized to manipulate and control others. They use it to punish, making their targets feel small, neglected, and inferior. By withdrawing communication, they expect you to chase after them or beg for their attention. However, when you choose silence, you strip away their power. This silence isn't about revenge. It's a conscious act of self-preservation. You stop seeking validation from someone who doesn't truly value you. As you remain silent, you become a mystery to the narcissist. They wonder why you're not chasing them or scrambling for their approval. Narcissists thrive on constant validation, and when you withdraw it, their inflated sense of self is destabilized. The longer you maintain silence, the more unsettled they become. They can no longer control or manipulate your emotions, which sends them into a panic. Instead of controlling the situation, they find themselves scrambling to regain control. This is where the true power of silence lies. While they panic, you stay grounded. Your silence is an expression of strength, not weakness, because you understand that your worth doesn't depend on their approval. This silence reflects modern Stoicism, responding to provocation with calm and refusing to let their chaos disturb your peace. The longer you hold your ground, the more you reveal your independence from their emotional games. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." By choosing silence, you show that you no longer want their validation. You've learned to validate yourself. In practical terms, this means refusing to engage when the narcissist tries to provoke you. Instead, you step away from their emotional battlefield. This is not passivity. It's a decision to preserve your energy and peace. In today's world, this approach is empowering. Whether it's a toxic colleague, a manipulative friend, or a difficult family member, narcissists expect you to react, chase them, or beg for their acknowledgement. When you don't, the power dynamic shifts. They become the ones chasing, while you maintain control over your emotional state. Over time, this silence will unsettle the narcissist. They'll wonder, why isn't this person chasing after me? Their entire sense of self-worth is based on the idea that others need them. Your refusal to engage sends a clear message. You are no longer at their mercy. In their mind, it's supposed to be you chasing them, not the other way around. By choosing silence, you show them that they no longer control you. This shift in power sends a powerful signal. You are the one in charge. The effects of silence aren't immediate, but over time they will shake the narcissist. They'll second-guess themselves, wondering if they've lost your attention for good. They might try to provoke you again, but with no guarantee of success. By the time they realize you are immune to their manipulations, you've already emotionally moved on. You've shown them that you have more control than they ever imagined. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By choosing silence, you reclaim your emotional freedom. In doing so, you not only deny the narcissist the validation they crave, but you also reaffirm your own self-worth. Narcissists rely on the belief that they are superior. By refusing to engage with their emotional games, you force them to confront their own insecurities. They might try to manipulate or guilt-trip you, but by staying silent, you show them that their tactics no longer affect you. This is an act of modern Stoicism, maintaining peace and integrity despite external turmoil. In a world where validation is often external, this practice of Stoicism is liberating. You learn that your value doesn't depend on anyone else's recognition. Next time you deal with a narcissist, remember the power of silence. It's not just an absence of words, it's a statement of self-worth. By refusing to engage in their drama, you take control of the situation and demonstrate that their validation no longer matters to you. This will send them into a panic, and in their desperation to regain control, they'll realize too late that they've lost you for good. You've mastered the art of modern Stoicism, where your inner peace and self-respect are your greatest assets. Number 3. Creating emotional and physical distance. One of the most powerful ways to reclaim your life from a narcissist is by creating both emotional and physical distance. Narcissists are masters of manipulation, using emotional bonds to keep their targets hooked. They thrive on validation, attention, and control, often weaving guilt, flattery, and emotional chaos to bind people to them. By stepping back, both physically and emotionally, you remove their ability to manipulate and regain the power you once gave them. This isn't just about walking away. It's about emotionally disconnecting from their influence, severing the dependency they've carefully fostered. Saying, "I will no longer let you define my worth or manipulate my feelings," may be a difficult but necessary step, especially after years of being entangled in their web. Over time, as you maintain this distance, the narcissist will begin to realize that you're no longer willing to play their games. This space gives you clarity and allows you to rediscover your identity outside their toxic narrative. The realization is often slow, but painful for them. They understand that their hold over you is slipping. The emotional and physical distance sends a powerful message. You no longer need them to define your happiness or self-worth. The impact of this distance on the narcissist can be compared to removing oxygen from a fire. Narcissists depend on constant affirmation, and when you're no longer a source of validation, their sense of power diminishes. The longer you maintain the distance, the harder it becomes for them to regain control. They may try to lure you back with persistent calls, texts, or attempts at re-engagement, but when you stand firm and refuse to respond, their influence begins to fade. The loss of control they experience is not just uncomfortable, but destabilizing. Narcissists often can't cope with the emotional independence you've cultivated. The act of distancing yourself is not only about stepping away from a toxic individual, it's about reclaiming your peace of mind and emotional well-being. As Stoic philosophy teaches, the greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. By creating space, you're not only freeing yourself from their grip, you're building resilience, strength, and wisdom. In a world filled with external chaos, modern Stoicism teaches us that true freedom comes from our ability to control our reactions, not external circumstances. When you stop seeking approval or playing the narcissist's emotional games, you align yourself with the core principles of modern Stoicism: emotional independence and self-control. In today's world, emotional manipulation can often be subtle, and narcissists can disguise their tactics as love, concern, or friendship. But by distancing yourself, you allow for clarity. You begin to see what truly matters: your self-worth, free from their toxic influence. It's like shedding old skin and breathing freely again. Emotional and physical distancing is a practice of self-protection and self-discovery, enabling you to regain the power you've lost. In this process, patience is essential. You may feel guilt or doubt about distancing yourself, wondering if you're being too harsh. But remember, this is not about being cruel. It's about protecting your emotional well-being. Narcissists thrive on your guilt. It's their tool for regaining control. But the longer you maintain your distance, the clearer it becomes that your decision was necessary for your well-being. The true shift occurs when you realize the narcissist no longer holds power over your happiness. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you stop allowing their behavior to dictate your emotional state, when you refuse to engage in their manipulations, you embody modern Stoicism, detachment from external influences, and a deep commitment to your own emotional sovereignty. This process is not just about rejecting a narcissist, it's about embracing your ability to determine your own happiness, recognizing that you don't need their validation to live a fulfilling life. Creating emotional and physical distance from a narcissist is an act of self-liberation. It's about reclaiming your autonomy, acknowledging your intrinsic value, and allowing yourself to thrive outside their toxic reach. When you take that step, you begin to rebuild your life, free from the shadow of manipulation. This journey may be challenging, but it's an essential one. Each step you take leaves the narcissist to confront their own emptiness, while you move forward, defining your life by your own choices and self-worth. Of these 3 strategies, which do you find most effective when dealing with a narcissist? 1. Act cold as ice. 2. Give them the silent treatment. Or 3. Create emotional and physical distance. Comment 1, 2, or 3 below and share your experiences with us. And be sure to stick around until the end. There's one last secret we're going to reveal that's sure to surprise you. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Number 4. Cutting all contact completely. One of the most powerful actions you can take to regain control from a narcissist is to cut all contact completely. Narcissists thrive on keeping their victims close, even after the relationship ends, so they can continue manipulating and controlling them. They rely on you for emotional, financial, and psychological support. But when you sever all ties, you strip them of this power. No more text messages, no phone calls, no social media interactions, nothing. This is not just a boundary, it is a clear message. I am no longer available for your games. This sends a shockwave through them, leaving them scrambling for control they can no longer hold. The beauty of this is that it denies them any emotional leverage. Narcissists can't stand the thought of losing control, and the idea that you could live without them is incomprehensible to them. When you cut them off, they must face the brutal truth that they no longer have access to your energy, time, or attention. This loss of control sends them into confusion and deep uncertainty. They'll wonder why you left, how you could be happy without them, and what they did wrong. As they stew over these questions, regret sets in, a regret they will never fully understand, haunting them for the rest of their lives. But here's the secret. Cutting contact isn't just about removing a toxic influence. It's about reclaiming your peace and power. This might seem like a small act, but it's one of the most significant and courageous steps you can take. Think about it. How often have you let someone keep you emotionally tied, even when you knew their presence wasn't good for you? How many times have you felt drained or manipulated but couldn't break free due to fear? Narcissists want to keep you tethered to them, always needing them, always seeking their validation. But by cutting contact, you shatter that illusion. You're no longer a part of their narrative, and that will haunt them. Imagine a modern example. Perhaps you've been in a relationship where you felt constantly manipulated and emotionally drained. You tried setting boundaries, communicated your needs, but nothing changed. Then, one day, you decide enough is enough. You block their number, remove them from social media, and delete every trace of them from your life. At first you feel a sense of relief, like a weight lifting off your shoulders. But then, over time, you notice something. They're still thinking about you. They can't move on because they no longer have control over you. The silence you've created is more unsettling to them than any argument could have been. This is the Stoic secret of emotional detachment in action. You've taken control of your life, your peace, and your boundaries. So why does cutting all contact strike such fear into the heart of a narcissist? It's the loss of control. Narcissists believe they are the center of your world, and that you exist to serve their needs. When you remove yourself from their orbit, they're left with a void. The emotional energy they once drew from you is gone, and they must confront the truth that they no longer have power over you. This realization is so jarring that they become obsessed with figuring out what happened. They ask themselves, why did they leave? How could they walk away so easily? What's wrong with me? No matter how many times they replay these thoughts, the truth remains. You've moved on. You've taken your power back. You are now in control of your emotions, life, and boundaries, and that's something they cannot handle. Cutting all contact gives you the space to heal. You stop being pulled into their toxic cycle and begin focusing on your growth. Imagine the freedom you gain when you're no longer emotionally manipulated. Think about how much clearer your mind becomes when you aren't second-guessing yourself or wondering how they'll react. This isn't just a tool for escaping their control. It's an essential step in reclaiming your happiness and peace. This journey teaches you one of the most powerful Stoic lessons. You control your reactions. The narcissist can only control you if you allow them. When you stop reacting to their provocations and disengage from their emotional games, you hold the power. This inner strength, the ability to detach from external chaos and focus on your peace, is something the narcissist never saw coming. They will regret underestimating you and be haunted by the fact that they couldn't manipulate you the way they thought they could. Ask yourself, are you ready to cut all contact and regain control of your life? Are you prepared to stop being a pawn in their game and start living for yourself? By making this powerful move, you will not only free yourself but also discover the peace and happiness you deserve. Number 5. Never apologizing to them. One of the most effective ways to disrupt a narcissist's power over you is by refusing to apologize when they demand it, especially when you've done nothing wrong. Narcissists are masters of manipulation, often twisting situations to make it seem like you are at fault, even when they are clearly in the wrong. They seek to dominate and control by making others feel guilty, expecting you to cave in and admit fault. However, what they don't expect is for you to stand your ground and refuse to apologize for something you didn't do. This simple yet powerful act of self-respect creates an unbreakable boundary, one that prevents them from manipulating your emotions or making you feel inferior. By not apologizing, you are not just defending your integrity, you're also asserting that your worth is not dependent on their approval. Narcissists thrive on validation and control. Their need to feel superior is insatiable, and they often rely on making others feel small to maintain that sense of power. When you refuse to apologize, you deny them the validation they crave, which is something they cannot tolerate. This refusal acts like a mirror, reflecting back their own manipulative behavior and showing them that their tactics have no hold over you. In doing so, you practice a form of modern Stoicism, responding to their emotional manipulation with calm strength. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your refusal to apologize becomes the very obstacle that advances your personal growth, helping you maintain your peace and integrity while disrupting their control. When you stand firm and refuse to apologize, the narcissist is left to wrestle with their own guilt and frustration. Their usual tactics of manipulation and emotional coercion will fail. Without your submission, they cannot feel superior, which causes them to question their own power and worth. This shift in dynamics forces them to confront a painful truth. They can't control you. For a narcissist, this realization is a blow to their ego. It's a crucial turning point as they begin to understand that their manipulation no longer works on you. Over time, this will lead them to regret their attempts to control you, as their emotional grip loosens and they lose their hold on you altogether. This dynamic is particularly relevant in modern life, where narcissistic behavior is increasingly common in workplaces, relationships, and even social media. Whether it's a manipulative colleague, a toxic friend, or a difficult family member, narcissists often expect others to apologize when they've done nothing wrong. By standing your ground and refusing to apologize, you shift the power dynamic. You show them that you cannot be manipulated or bullied into submission. This is a powerful act of reclaiming your emotional and mental space. Modern Stoicism teaches us how to maintain emotional resilience in the face of manipulation, and by embracing this approach, you respond not with confrontation, but with clarity and self-discipline. In the long run, your refusal to apologize will lead the narcissist to regret trying to manipulate you. They may escalate their attempts to guilt-trip you, but the more you remain unmoved, the more they realize their tactics no longer work. Narcissists thrive on guilt and manipulation, and when you don't take the bait, they are forced to confront the limitations of their power. As Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By refusing to apologize, you reveal your inner strength and control over your emotions, showing that their emotional games have no effect on you. Over time, the narcissist's sense of control will begin to unravel. Their usual tactics of emotional manipulation will no longer work, and they'll find themselves questioning why they can't dominate you like they used to. The regret they feel will be lasting, as they come to terms with the fact that they've lost their grip on you. By standing firm, you not only protect your self-respect but also teach them a valuable lesson in boundaries and self-worth. This act of defiance will resonate deeply with them, reminding them that you cannot be manipulated. By refusing to apologize, you take back the control that the narcissist once held over you. This is a powerful display of emotional resilience, one that reaffirms your boundaries and protects your peace. In this moment, you embody modern Stoicism, practicing emotional discipline and maintaining your inner calm despite external turmoil. You've made it clear that their emotional manipulation no longer holds power over you, and in doing so, you regain your emotional freedom. The regret the narcissist feels will be deep and lasting, but by then you've already moved on, free from their manipulations and stronger than ever before. Number 6. Living a happy life without them. Narcissists often believe they are the center of your universe, convinced that without their validation you would crumble. They manipulate you into thinking your happiness depends on their approval, keeping you tied to their influence. But here's the truth they never anticipated. You are fully capable of finding happiness without them. Whether through building a meaningful career, nurturing genuine relationships, or simply enjoying your own company, you demonstrate that their toxic influence does not define your worth. This reality blindsides narcissists because it challenges their inflated sense of self-importance. They think they're irreplaceable, that no one could ever take their place in your life. However, when you begin to thrive without them, they are forced to confront the painful truth that they were never as vital to your happiness as they thought. This realization stings for the narcissist as they cannot fathom a life where you're happy without them. Your independence shakes their sense of control, and the more you flourish, the more they have to face their own irrelevance. It's a bitter pill for them to swallow. But for you, this is the ultimate payback, not out of revenge, but through reclaiming your life, your joy, and your purpose, free from their manipulation. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Narcissists may try to twist your emotions or provoke reactions, but when you choose peace and contentment, despite their attempts, you embody the essence of modern Stoicism, emotional independence and the power to take control of your own happiness. In a world where validation is often sought from others, especially from narcissistic figures, breaking free can be a difficult but empowering journey. The narcissist's tactics may make you feel like you need their approval to succeed or feel good about yourself. But modern Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from within, and we have control over our emotional responses. When you stop seeking their validation and instead focus on your own happiness, you prove to them that they are no longer central to your existence. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By taking responsibility for your emotional well-being, you not only break free from the narcissist's control, but also start living a life of fulfillment and joy that they never expected. The narcissist's worst fear is that they are replaceable, that their power over you is not as irreplaceable as they once believed. Watching you succeed and thrive without them is a reminder that they were never the cornerstone of your happiness. This shift in your mindset sends a clear message. You are no longer dependent on their approval. This is where the narcissist feels the sting of rejection most. As they observe your happiness, they come to realize that they have lost their place in your life forever. The pain of this realization will haunt them, as they are forced to reckon with their own irrelevance. Living your best life without the narcissist is also the ultimate form of emotional freedom. When you stop allowing their toxic influence to control your emotions or decisions, you embrace the core of modern Stoicism. That happiness comes not from external validation, but from within. You are not defined by their actions or manipulations, but by your ability to stand firm in your values and choose a life that aligns with your true self. In doing so, you show them that you don't need their approval to live a meaningful, fulfilled life. This is an act of self-liberation, demonstrating that your life is in your hands, not theirs. In today's world, narcissists are often people close to us, family, romantic partners, friends, who believe they have an unshakable claim on our happiness. But once you stop playing their games and start living authentically, free from their manipulation, they are forced to confront the painful reality that you are thriving without them. The idea that your happiness no longer revolves around them is something they never expected, and it's this truth that will regretfully linger with them. You are no longer shackled by their emotional chaos, and that, in itself, is the ultimate victory. Are you ready to take back control of your life and stop letting a narcissist manipulate you emotionally? If you're ready to cut all contact and get your peace back, type "I'm committed" or "I'm ready" in the comments section below. Don't forget to watch until the end. Next we'll reveal 6 things narcissists regret that you don't want to miss. 6 things that will make the narcissist regret it. Number 1. Building unshakable self-worth. One of the most powerful things you can do to reclaim your life from a narcissist is to build unshakable self-worth. Narcissists thrive on your insecurity. They feed off your self-doubt and criticism, using these vulnerabilities to manipulate and control you. They want you to believe you're not enough without them, but what they never expect is for you to realize your own value. The moment you stop seeking validation from them or anyone else and start building an unshakable sense of self-worth, you take away their power. The key to this shift is understanding that you are enough as you are. Your value isn't determined by their approval or anyone else's for that matter. Once you embrace this truth, their insults, criticisms, and attempts to tear you down won't affect you anymore. Narcissists are experts at gaslighting. They twist reality, making you feel like the problem is with you, when in fact it's their deep insecurity and need for control that's at the root of everything. The Stoic secret here is not absorbing their negativity. When you stop internalizing their manipulations, you strip them of the ability to emotionally control you. By setting firm boundaries and refusing to accept any behavior that diminishes your self-worth, you start to create a shield around your peace. You become the protector of your own self-esteem. For example, imagine you've been in a relationship where your partner constantly belittles your accomplishments, tries to make you feel worthless, or minimizes your happiness. Maybe they criticize your choices or use subtle put-downs to undermine your confidence. At first, you may have felt lost, unsure of yourself, but one day, something clicks. You decide enough is enough. You start affirming your value, setting boundaries, and refusing to tolerate any behavior that diminishes you. Slowly but surely, you begin to rebuild your inner strength. The more you do this, the more you realize you don't need their approval to feel good about yourself. You are enough on your own. And the narcissist who once thrived on your self-doubt is now left scrambling, unable to comprehend how you can stand so firm without them. They will be filled with confusion, frustration, and ultimately, regret. They thought they could control you through your insecurities, but what they never expected was for you to see through their manipulation and rise above it. The truth is, when you build self-worth, you stop being their emotional supply. You become your own source of validation. You might even notice a shift in your interactions. No longer do you second-guess yourself or wonder if you're doing it right. You stand tall in your own skin, and that's the moment the narcissist realizes they no longer have a hold on you. They may try to lure you back in, throw insults your way, or manipulate the situation, but their tricks won't work. You've learned the Stoic secret of emotional detachment. Your peace is now in your control, and the narcissist, has no power over it. Now consider this. How often have you let someone else's opinion of you define your worth? How many times have you doubted yourself because of the way a narcissist or toxic person treated you? The answer is probably more often than you'd like to admit. But here's the thing. Once you stop seeking validation externally, once you start recognizing your inherent worth, you break free from that toxic cycle. The narcissist can't understand this. They want you to feel small and dependent on them, but you've shattered that illusion. They will regret trying to break you, and that regret will linger with them forever. Building unshakable self-worth isn't just about surviving their manipulation. It's about thriving beyond it. It's about stepping into your power and refusing to let anyone diminish you. The narcissist might never understand how you can stand so strong without them, and that, my friend, will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Are you ready to start building that self-worth? Are you prepared to stand up for yourself and never let anyone make you feel less than you are? When you do, you will find that not only do you take back your life, but you will also leave the narcissist in a state of confusion and regret. Number 2. Mastering emotional detachment. One of the most powerful ways to regain control in a relationship with a narcissist is by mastering emotional detachment. Narcissists thrive on creating emotional dependency, manipulating others by triggering emotions like guilt, anger, or sadness to maintain control. They want you to rely on them for emotional stability and use your vulnerabilities to manipulate your responses. However, by practicing emotional detachment, you disrupt this cycle. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing their behavior to dictate your emotional reactions. Instead of becoming enmeshed in their manipulations, you observe their actions without getting caught in the emotional turmoil they create. You begin to see their behavior for what it truly is, an attempt to provoke a reaction. By choosing not to react emotionally, you take back control and no longer play into their game. As you develop emotional detachment, your emotional resilience strengthens. Narcissists rely on provoking emotional responses to maintain control, but when you remain calm and composed, they lose their power. Over time, this ability to stay unaffected builds a mental shield that makes their emotional manipulations ineffective. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice detachment, the stronger and more confident you become in handling their provocations. As Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." By detaching from the narcissist's emotional games, you no longer need validation from them, and in doing so, you regain your emotional independence. The less they can control your emotions, the more empowered you become. The moment you stop reacting to a narcissist's emotional manipulation, they begin to lose control. They can no longer trigger the reactions they once did, and their usual tactics, like guilt-tripping or anger, fall flat. The narcissist's fragile self-esteem depends on their ability to manipulate others, and when they realize they can no longer provoke you, they feel powerless. This realization starts to build frustration, and eventually, they come to regret trying to manipulate you. The power dynamic shifts, and the narcissist who once had control over your emotions is now left to face their own emotional confusion. This shift is not only empowering for you, but also marks a critical moment of regret for them. In today's world, where narcissistic behavior is prevalent in personal relationships, workplaces, and even on social media, emotional detachment is an invaluable tool. Whether it's a toxic colleague, a manipulative friend, or a controlling family member, narcissists will always try to provoke an emotional response to maintain their control. But by practicing emotional detachment, you can protect your peace and take back the power. This aligns with the principles of modern Stoicism, which teaches emotional discipline and the ability to control one's reactions regardless of external circumstances. By practicing modern Stoicism, you learn to stay grounded and unaffected by the narcissist's emotional manipulations, reinforcing your emotional boundaries and well-being. As you continue to maintain emotional detachment, the narcissist becomes increasingly frustrated. Their attempts to manipulate you grow less effective, and they begin to regret trying to control you. In some cases, they may escalate their behavior, but the more you remain calm, the more power they lose. The Stoic philosopher Seneca reminds us, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality," highlighting how the narcissist's imagined control over you fades when you no longer allow them to stir up your emotions. Their frustration turns to regret as they realize they no longer have the power to manipulate you. This profound shift can be deeply unsettling for the narcissist. They begin to question their ability to control others and reflect on the failure of their manipulative tactics. The emotional games they once played with ease no longer work, and they are left struggling with their own frustrations. Narcissists live for control, and losing it causes them a deep sense of loss that can persist long after the manipulation ends. In the long run, mastering emotional detachment not only weakens the narcissist's hold over you, but it also helps you reclaim your peace and self-respect. By refusing to engage with their emotional manipulations, you assert your right to emotional freedom. This is the essence of modern Stoicism, practicing inner peace and emotional resilience in the face of external turmoil. By detaching from the narcissist, you take control of your emotional life, freeing yourself from their influence. In doing so, you affirm that your peace, stability, and self-worth cannot be shaken by anyone, no matter how hard they try. Ultimately, emotional detachment allows you to break free from their manipulations, empowering you to live with clarity, strength, and emotional independence. Number 3. Establishing firm boundaries. Narcissists thrive when they can push your boundaries without consequence, manipulating situations to maintain control. They disregard your needs, test your patience, and overstep limits, believing they can do so without facing repercussions. However, when you begin setting and enforcing clear boundaries, whether by rejecting emotional manipulation, distancing yourself, or expressing that certain behaviors are unacceptable, you send a powerful message that their toxic behavior will no longer be tolerated. This act of self-respect disrupts their control over you. Narcissists often use guilt, charm, or anger to dominate others, but setting boundaries challenges their sense of power. By asserting limits, you force them to confront a painful truth. They no longer control your emotional world. This shift in power is difficult for them to accept. Over time, as you consistently enforce your boundaries, the narcissist faces a choice: respect your limits or walk away. This change shifts the power dynamic in the relationship. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By asserting and maintaining boundaries, you take control of your emotional freedom, removing the narcissist's ability to manipulate your peace of mind. In today's world, where narcissistic behaviors often go unchecked, establishing firm boundaries becomes a vital act of empowerment. Narcissists will try to manipulate you, making you feel guilty for asserting your needs. But modern Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from within, not from the approval of others. By protecting your emotional health, you preserve your sense of self-worth and live authentically, free from the chaos narcissists create. Setting boundaries is one of the most effective ways to protect your mental and emotional well-being. It reasserts control over your life, focusing on what matters while shielding you from toxic influences. As you enforce your boundaries, the narcissist's frustration will grow. Their manipulation tactics will increase as they attempt to regain control, but this only reveals their discomfort with losing power over you. Over time, the narcissist will realize their usual tactics no longer work. This loss of control will be hard for them to accept, filling them with regret and frustration. They may see you as a constant reminder of their failure to manipulate. Eventually, they will either respect your boundaries or walk away. But in doing so, you regain control over your emotional space. Setting firm boundaries is not just about standing against the narcissist. It's about reclaiming your emotional autonomy. It's about realizing that your happiness and peace are within your control. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By enforcing your boundaries, you protect your thoughts and emotions from being influenced by the narcissist's games, taking full responsibility for your well-being. In a world where many seek approval from others, learning to set boundaries with narcissists is crucial for maintaining emotional health. Narcissists often use gaslighting, emotional blackmail, or guilt to make you question your right to set limits. But when you stand firm, you protect yourself and communicate strength and resilience. This act of asserting boundaries embodies modern Stoicism, emotional independence and self-mastery in the face of external pressures. Refusing to yield to the narcissist's will is the highest form of emotional freedom. Establishing and maintaining boundaries with a narcissist is about reclaiming your life. By holding firm, you signal that you will no longer be their emotional hostage. Over time, the narcissist will either respect your limits or leave, but either way, you regain control. The greatest victory isn't defeating the narcissist, but in living life on your terms, free from their manipulations. This process becomes a testament to your emotional strength, self-respect, and ability to live authentically, no longer controlled by their toxic influence. Are you ready to take back control of your life and stop letting a narcissist dictate your worth? Comment, "I'm ready," or "I'm strong," below, and make sure to watch until the end of the video. There are even more powerful insights waiting, especially the last 3 that promise to surprise and empower you in ways you never expected. Number 4. Cultivating independence and self-reliance. One of the most powerful ways to make a narcissist regret their treatment of you is to cultivate independence and self-reliance. Narcissists thrive on making you feel like you can't survive without them. They want you to believe that your happiness, success, and worth are dependent on their validation, attention, or even financial support. They work tirelessly to keep you emotionally and psychologically bound to them. But what they never see coming is when you break free and build your independence. When you develop the mental and emotional strength to stand on your own, you take away their control over you. Independence isn't just about handling your own affairs. It's about creating a life where you no longer need them for your happiness or security. It's about learning to rely on yourself, to validate your own worth, and to give yourself the love and support you once sought from them. Think about it. How many times have you let someone else define your happiness or success? Narcissists play on those doubts, pushing you to depend on them. But when you shift your focus to yourself, setting personal goals, building your career, and nurturing relationships that support and uplift you, you begin to see that you don't need them to thrive. You realize you are capable, strong, and worthy. The more you develop this sense of self, the less power the narcissist has over you. This is where the Stoic secrets come in, learning to detach emotionally from their influence and build a strong internal foundation. By working on your emotional resilience, you stop seeking external validation, and their need for control starts to unravel. As you continue to grow and succeed without them, they will be left in disbelief. The realization that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that you can be happy and fulfilled without them, strikes a devastating blow to their inflated ego. They never expected you to thrive without them, and when they see you doing just that, they will be haunted by regret. Let me give you an example. Imagine you've been in a toxic relationship with a narcissist who has isolated you from loved ones, drained your self-esteem, and made you feel like you couldn't do anything without their support. One day you decide you've had enough. You start small. Maybe you take up a new hobby or pursue a career path you've always dreamed of. At first, it's uncomfortable. You're used to looking to them for guidance or approval. But gradually you begin to find your own strength. You make new friends who encourage you, gain confidence in your abilities, and start to see the world differently. The more you grow, the more you realize that you no longer need their validation. You've learned to give that to yourself. As you become more independent, the narcissist grows frustrated and confused. They never expected you to thrive without them. They thought they were the center of your world, the one whose opinion mattered most. but now they watch as you continue to build the life they tried to hold you back from. This shift sends a clear message. Your happiness and success no longer depend on them. The beauty of this shift is that it strips them of all their power. They can no longer use your fears, insecurities, or dependence to control you. What they never thought you would do, cultivate your own independence, shatters their illusion of control over you. They are left regretting their actions, wondering why they couldn't keep you under their grip. How often do we give away our power by depending on others for validation, love, or success? The Stoic secret here is to turn that power inward, to rely on yourself, and to build a life where you don't need anyone's approval. When you do this, you take control of your destiny. The narcissist will regret trying to make you feel small because they will see you growing and thriving without them. You'll be free, emotionally strong, and in charge of your own happiness. And that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Are you ready to take that step? Are you prepared to become independent and self-reliant? To stop seeking validation from those who don't have your best interests at heart? When you do, you'll not only regain your power, you'll show the narcissist that their influence over you was never as strong as they thought. Number 5. Finding true happiness and peace. One of the most powerful ways to free yourself from a narcissist's control is by finding true happiness and peace, independent of their influence. Narcissists often believe that their presence is crucial to your emotional well-being, convincing themselves that without them, you would be lost or unable to cope with life's challenges. However, when you start living a fulfilling, peaceful life without them, it forces them to face a painful truth. They were never essential to your happiness. True happiness is an internal state, built through self-love, emotional resilience, and the ability to maintain peace despite external circumstances. This principle aligns with modern Stoicism, which teaches that our emotional well-being should come from within, not from others' validation. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. By embracing this mindset, you stop letting narcissists or anyone else define your emotional state or sense of worth. The narcissist's greatest fear is realizing you've healed and moved on without them. They thrive on the belief that they are the center of your universe. When you build a life filled with joy, love, and purpose, free from their toxic influence, it forces them to confront the reality that they were never as important as they believed. Your happiness becomes a testament to your strength and independence, something they can't accept. The more you thrive, the more they regret their mistreatment of you. As you flourish, they are left powerless to re-enter the narrative they once controlled. Narcissists struggle to understand how someone they tried to control can thrive without them. They believe their manipulation is key to your emotional stability. But when you find happiness on your own terms, whether through personal growth, meaningful relationships, or simply living authentically, they are confronted with the undeniable truth. They were never the key to your well-being. Your emotional foundation has always been within you, waiting to be nurtured. This realization devastates their ego, forcing them to face the fact that they cannot control your happiness. As you continue to grow stronger, their hold over you weakens, and they are forced to reckon with your independence. In today's world, where narcissistic behavior is common in relationships, workplaces, and even on social media, finding true happiness and peace is more important than ever. Narcissists may try to manipulate or control you, convincing you that their validation is necessary for your success. But when you prioritize your inner peace, you show emotional resilience and self-sufficiency. This is where modern Stoicism becomes invaluable. It teaches us to stay calm in the face of manipulation, to live according to our values, and to reclaim control over our life's narrative. By practicing modern Stoicism, you prove that the narcissist's perceived power over you was always an illusion. Even if a narcissist tries to undermine your happiness through rumors or provocation, your ability to remain grounded will make their efforts futile. The more you thrive, the less effective their attempts to regain control become. Over time, as you become more resilient, their ability to disturb your peace diminishes. Their fantasy of being central to your life crumbles, and they must face the painful reality that they were never as important as they believed. The moment they realize they no longer have power over you is when their illusion of control collapses. Finding happiness and peace without a narcissist is the most powerful act of defiance. It declares that your emotional well-being belongs to you and no one else. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By choosing joy and fulfillment outside of their influence, you prove that no one, not even a narcissist, can take away your happiness. In doing so, you break free from their manipulation and affirm that true peace comes from within. The narcissist will be left with regret, knowing they never had the power they thought they had. Ultimately, you are the master of your own happiness. Number 6. Letting go of the past and moving forward. Narcissists are skilled at keeping their victims emotionally trapped in the past. They often remind you of your past mistakes, failures, or moments of vulnerability, using these memories as tools for manipulation and control. By constantly bringing up negative experiences, they aim to make you feel inadequate, forcing you to focus on past wounds rather than future possibilities. Their ultimate goal is to keep you emotionally stuck, dependent on their validation and haunted by past regrets. What they don't expect is that one day, you will choose to release the past and move forward. This is where your true power lies. When you decide to let go of past trauma and negative memories, you break free from their control. You stop letting their toxic behavior define who you are or dictate your future. Instead of letting them shape your life, you start to shape your own future, focusing on growth and healing. Letting go of the past means taking ownership of your emotional well-being. It's a self-liberation process, recognizing your worth and refusing to be defined by anyone else's actions. It's not about forgetting what happened, but about choosing not to be enslaved by it. As you focus on the present and future, the narcissist is forced to witness your transformation. They'll see that you're no longer the person they once controlled and manipulated. Your strength and resilience will be a painful reminder to them that their attempts to keep you trapped in the past were in vain. The narcissist's greatest regret will be underestimating your ability to heal and thrive without them. Their strategy of keeping you focused on the past will have failed, leaving them with the painful realization that they never had as much control over you as they thought. This shift in power is not only painful for them, but also a powerful testament to your growth. The more you grow, the more they will regret trying to control your past and present. In today's world, where many are held captive by past pain, letting go is an act of modern Stoicism. It's about acknowledging the emotional weight of the past and choosing not to let it define your present or future. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By choosing to release the past and focus on the future, you take control of your thoughts, emotions, and destiny. This mindset is key to breaking free from the narcissist's manipulation. The past may have shaped you, but it no longer has the power to control you. Modern Stoicism teaches us that we can choose how to react to external events, no matter how painful. By letting go of the past, you embrace emotional independence, choosing to live for today and tomorrow, not yesterday. The narcissist may try to keep you trapped in guilt and regret, but with the wisdom of Stoicism, you realize that your peace and happiness come from within. As you heal and move forward, you'll notice the narcissist's grip on your emotions weakening. You become stronger, more empowered, and in control of your life. They will realize their tactics of manipulation no longer work. Letting go doesn't mean erasing the pain or pretending it never existed. It means making the conscious decision to stop allowing that pain to dictate your actions or prevent you from living a fulfilling life. By releasing the hold the past has on you, you reclaim the power to move forward. The narcissist, who once thought they controlled your emotions, will see you living a life defined by your own values and choices. This transformation, This journey of emotional independence will be their greatest regret. The narcissist will come to understand that they could not stop your healing or happiness. Their manipulative tactics that kept you tied to the past will have been powerless against your resolve. You will move forward, stronger than ever, no longer bound by their toxicity and free to pursue the life you deserve. In this shift, this act of reclaiming your future, you will find true victory. Letting go of the past is the ultimate act of self-liberation, and the narcissist's regret will be deep and lasting, for they will never be able to undo the strength and resilience you've gained. As we wrap up, remember that the narcissist never imagined you would rise above their control and thrive without them. By embracing your personal growth, building unshakable self-worth, mastering emotional detachment, setting boundaries, and finding true happiness, you've proven that they were never as powerful as they believed. Their regret will follow them for the rest of their lives, while you continue to live with strength, peace, and fulfillment. Now it's time for you to take these principles and apply them to your daily life. Start today, take control of your happiness, embrace your independence, and build a life that is all your own. How will you begin this journey? Share your thoughts or your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life for more wisdom on how to live a stronger, more fulfilling life.